Salut, c'est Géraldine, bienvenue sur Comme une Française TV, sound French even to the French. The words humour and amour are almost the same, and that's no coincidence. French people love humor. Most comedy relies on situations or observations of society or pratfalls and farts, but between these, there's also a wide range of humor, jokes for children and adults alike. Some are universal, while others are specific to the French language, so let's dive in. Les blagues. Une blague is a joke. Tu veux une blague courte? Oui. Tu en veux une autre? Tu veux une blague courte? Oui. Tu en veux une autre? Do you want to hear a short joke? Yes. Do you want to hear another one? What you're doing now is called rire, to laugh, or le rire, laughter, because that was très drôle, very funny, and because tu as de l'humour, or tu as le sens de l'humour. You have a sense of humor. The verb to joke is translated as blaguer, or plaisanter, or faire une blague, to make a joke. So, je blague means I'm kidding. We also say je rigole, je plaisante as well. Je blague, je rigole, or je plaisante, for I'm joking. Je suis désolée, j'ai rayé ta voiture quand je me suis garée. Mais non, je blague, elle était déjà rayée. Je suis désolée, j'ai rayé ta voiture quand je me suis garée. Mais non, je blague, elle était déjà rayée. I'm so sorry, I scratched your car when I was parking. No, I'm just kidding, it was already scratched. I'm just kidding can also be translated as c'est pour rire or c'était pour rire. Literally, it was just for laughs. C'est pour rire or c'était pour rire. Or in a more colloquial way, c'était pour déconner. C'était pour déconner. Déconner is un gros mot, bad language you tend to avoid around children or in a professional setting, but they're not as offensive or insulting and they're quite common. Like the joke, la blague has different meanings. It can be a spontaneous joke in a conversation, sometimes called une boutade, but that's a bit old-fashioned, une boutade, or a joke in a comedian set, where it's often called une vanne, or it can be a joke you heard with a funny story, une histoire drôle, une histoire drôle. An infamous vector for les histoires drôles is a paper for the chewy French caramel candy called un carambar, carambar. Children can eat carambar and read the joke on the paper. It's usually a lame joke. That's why all jokes or bad puns are usually called une blague carambar, une blague carambar. For instance, many of them are. Les blagues de Toto. Les blagues de Toto are stories about young schoolboy called Toto. He doesn't like school, he's sometimes innocent and sometimes dirty, and you might already know him under his foreign name, like Little Johnny or Friedchen in Germany or in Russia, Vovoshka. They're usually des histoires drôles, really short stories with characters, setup and a punchline. You know, like Toto et la colonie de vacances, summer camp. Toto, tu as pris une douche ce matin? Non, pourquoi? Il en manque une. Toto, tu as pris une douche ce matin? Non, pourquoi? Il en manque une. Toto, did you take a shower this morning? No, why? Is one missing? Another kind of popular joke is les blagues belges or les histoires belges, Belgian jokes, or les blagues sur les Belges, jokes about Belgian people, are based on a stereotype of Belgian people as dumb and naive. I'm not saying that's true, it's just a stereotype and a way that people joke with each other. All countries have their target country for jokes, and France chose Belgium. I'm sure other countries chose France. I don't really know why actually. Maybe it comes from the very famous French comedian Coluche in the 80s, but I don't know. Anyway, across the world, every country has a stereotype for a dumb neighbor. Even the ancient Greeks of the 3rd century used to make fun of the inhabitants of Comme, a coastal city in Asia Minor, as being really stupid. In the same vein, we also have jokes about a whole lot of national stereotypes and about blonde women, mother-in-laws, kids, all these kind of things. Le comble. Le comble means the height as in the most or the worst. le comble de l'absurdité, the height of nonsense, le comble de l'absurdité. There's a lot of jokes, especially des blagues carambars, that start with quel est le comble? Quel est le comble? What is the height? They're usually absurd or based on really lame puns and mostly untranslatable. Quel est le comble pour un agneau? Quel est le comble pour un agneau? Avoir une faim de loup. Avoir une faim de loup. What's the worst for lamb? To be starving like a wolf. The pun here is the usual expression avoir une faim de loup, to be starving. Avoir une faim de loup. Another common structure for this kind of jokes would be combien faut-il de someone pour changer une ampoule? Combien faut-il de personnes pour changer une ampoule? How many stereotypical people does it take to change a light bulb? But these are already international. Monsieur et Madame. Monsieur et Madame X, Mr. and Mrs. X, have a son. What's his name? Something that makes a pun with his surname. It's another common structure, half joke, half riddle. Monsieur et Madame Touille ont un fils, comment s'appelle-t-il? Monsieur et Madame Touille ont un fils, comment s'appelle-t-il? Sacha, parce que ça chatouille. Okay, it tickles. Monsieur et Madame Touille have a son. What do they call him? Sacha, because ça chatouille. Ça chatouille means it tickles. It also works with a daughter or several siblings or 4 sons, for example, like the Fly family and their sons Abel, Eve, and Akim. Okay, it's a joke. Can you make it out? I'll give you the answer in the comments. Le calembour is a lame pun, also called un mauvais jeu de mots, a bad play on words, or un jeu de mots laid, an ugly play on words. The word in itself isn't so commonly used, but the pun is. It can be a part of a joke with a setup or just a pun in passing. Most of the jokes in today's video involves des calembours. They're different from le bon mot or un trait d'esprit, the English wit. However, some French writers became masters of calembour, and in their hands, punning is elevated to a clever form of poetry, with twists and turns and surprises. One such comedian was the late Raymond Devos, a god, who traded in wordplay and absurdities. I will leave you a link to some of his work on the blog below the video. The French language likes to make fun of twists and turns in its own sound, with la contrepétrie. La contrepétrie, also called le contrepète, translates into Spoonerisms. It's the art of voluntary lapses. It's a sentence that hides another meaning, usually dirty, which appears if you switch 2 letters or sounds. It lets you be both clever and dirty, a melting pot of highbrow humor and tricks of language, puns and super shock humor about sex and farts. The most famous French contrepétrie would be Elle est folle de la messe, okay? Elle est folle de la messe. She's crazy about the mass. This sentence, if you switch the first letters of folle and messe, becomes Elle est molle de la fesse. Elle est molle de la fesse. Her buttocks are soft. It is said that for une contrepétrie to be really, really funny, you need 3 people. 1 person to say it, 1 to understand it, and a 3rd person who doesn't understand it. It's a riddle that you won't always notice, that you won't always understand or won't even voluntarily make, like le passage de la mer Rouge, the crossing of the Red Sea in the Bible. Le passage de la mer Rouge. Using a French contrepétrie in casual conversation will help you integrate faster into French people's hearts than eating 1,000 baguettes. Everyone will think you speak comme une Française if you suggest letting them choose the date. Je vous laisse le choix dans la date. But I'm not going to explain this one, I will leave it to you to Google it. If you're in Belgium, try the local contrepétrie instead. Il fait chaud et beau. It's sunny and warm, which of course resolves into il fait beau et chaud. It's warm and sunny. It's like a kind of a double joke. Et toi, do you have some of these jokes in your culture? Which Spoonerisms do you know? Which jokes do you think are specific to your country? Share your experience in French if you dare in the comments below. We can all learn from your story. The comment section is the best place to start discussions and ask me questions. Please comment if you like this video or if you have something you want me to talk about later. I read all the comments, especially yours. If you like this video, share it with your friends on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Pinterest. by email or talking to each other. Help me spread the word about Comme, Française. Merci. Love French, dream of sounding French even to the French. Learn how with me, Géraldine, on commeunfrançaise.com, and subscribe to my email updates for exclusive tips on real life in French every Tuesday, plus an exclusive video lesson, Introduce Yourself in French. And it's free. Merci for watching Comme Française TV, sound French even to the French. Allez, salut!